Welcome everybody to another week with your host, the one and only, Bad Ty. You know who it is. And on my right, or my left, I don't know which way that is actually. I don't know my right or my left today. But on my immediate side is none other than introduce yourself to the people, man.
What's up? This is Tyrone Thornhill. Always on your side. Always on your side. So yeah, I'll be by. No, I'm just. But
look,
good to see you.
Vocals today, y'all.
Thank you for Don't get me started singing in here because it'll be over. It'll be just me singing to these people. There'll be 4,000 people watching, and just that'll be the whole show.
As always, Good Ty brings the good spirit and the Holy Ghost every week. So listen, y'all. It's good to be back, man. This is episode 4 for us. The grind is real. We're not gonna stop, so you just got to get used to the basis. But as usual, we like to come in every week and talk about things that may have or may have not been on your mind, but we like to shed light either way. And this week we're gonna start with something dope, man. Like this is something that's really been on my heart, on my mind, and even in my dreams, Tyrone. We've been dealing with a lot of deaths. Most recently, DMX, Black Rob, and Shock G. And I'm sure we'll get more news soon on somebody else. That's just like the way it's been, and I think we're so disconnected from it that it seems like it's a surprise when it's been going on for so long. But this issue kind of resonates with me because I feel like social media has given us this ability to not have those real personal relationships that you had prior to social media. I think social media gives people this false sense of availability. You know what I'm saying? Like I can reach out to them at any time. I see on social media they're good. I don't have to really speak because as long as I like a picture or love or heart your shit, you feel like you're somehow part of that person's life. The fact that we've been losing these people that we've been losing, and the fact that the outcry for them after they're gone, just seems to me at this point as one of those things that it's too little too late, kind of. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not appreciate the people after they're gone, because guess what, y'all? They can't appreciate it.
Yeah.
Whether y'all know it or not, or whether you think, okay, they went to heaven, I'll see them again. That may be true. And it may not. But the fact of the matter is they spent a time on this earth and was able to bless you with whatever they were able to bless you with. And at that point in time, you took it for granted, but now you want to show appreciation. My question to you, Tyrone, will be this week. Is it too little too late, or am I just being too tough on people?
I think the answer is probably multifaceted. I think because we got to think about it in terms of grief, obviously, because there's loss there, but also the social media aspect does add like another element to it because what's up, Lisa? Lisa's always around. What's up, Lisa? It's always good to see you. I can't wait to see you on the 6th and meet you, and thank you for always being so supportive. Give you your flowers. Yes, give Lisa her flowers and give everybody their flowers. But no, it's social media adds another element because a lot of social media is so self-centered. You know what I mean? So it reminds me of an Anthony Jeselnik joke from one of his specials where he was talking about how people, when something happens and it's all over social media, they get online and they they say what they say, but essentially what it amounts to is don't forget about me during this time. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like a very paraphrased version of what he was saying. And, you know, I think there is a little bit of that to it. You know, everybody wants to just kind of like throw their hat in the ring and just, you know, just be part of it. Now, is it as an optimist, I hope it's them just wanting to be part of a celebration of somebody's life, you know, like with DMX, you know, you saw a lot of stories about what DMX meant to people. You know, you saw a lot of, you know, a lot of people posting pictures or, you know, posting videos and stuff like that. And I think that's good. It's healthy. It's a good celebration of life, but
after the fact though, Tyrone.
Right. After the fact. And here's the thing. It's like, there was a long time where DMX was, you know, it was like, okay, we hear his songs and we love his music. But, you know, I'm not really thinking about DMX otherwise, or I'm not really, you know, I'm not talking about him or that kind of thing. And you know, to a certain extent, a lot of that's natural. You know, we're so caught up in what's right in front of our faces. We might be caught up in, you know, the latest music, the latest TV shows or whatever, and kind of forget about the things that have been around and that have given us joy and given us entertainment until we're reminded through some tragedy that they meant a lot to us. So, you know, I think there's a little bit of both sides of that happening. I hope that we can start to kind of, like you say, put flowers, give people their flowers before it's a funeral, before it's a memorial. You know what I mean? You know, celebrate the people that mean a lot to you. If you have somebody that, you know, that speaks to you in a certain way, let them know. You know what I mean? Let everybody know. You know, right now, you know what I mean? I'll just throw somebody out there right now because, you know, we're thinking about old people. You know, we're getting up there in age. You know what I mean? Like we're you know, of a generation where a lot of the people that we grew up with, you know, are starting to get to the age where, you know, unfortunately people get sick, they get old, they pass and stuff. So it's, you know, we're going to be dealing with this more and more. And what I hope it does is get us to kind of face our own lives and, you know, the fact that we all have limited time on this earth and do the absolute best we can with that time, the best we can for ourselves and for each other. But, you know, mostly just to kind of wrap it up in some way, mostly I think it's good for the healing process, you know, to share these kind of things and to put it out there. I wish that it wasn't such a in the moment sort of fad kind of thing, you know, because by next week we probably won't be hearing much about DMX, you know, and you know, it took a couple of days for people to stop talking about Shock G, you know what I mean? So it's, I wish there would be a little bit more of that embracing, you know, after, even before and after, you know, just to where it's not, just so you're not looking for likes or you're not looking for a viral post or whatever, you know, just put it out there just because it means something to you.
But I think one of the things that I kind of just observed is the fact that I think a lot of people do these things to honor individuals after their death because they feel an obligation to do so. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That part is the part that bothers me because then I feel like it's not genuine.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? In the sense that if you loved DMX like you love DMX, you would have already posted those pictures. You would have already put that stuff out to celebrate him at any given time, just like on some like this. That's my friend. And one day I happen to be looking at my pictures and I come across this picture of me and you. I will post that shit just to remind you, yo, remember when we took this show?
Yeah.
And it's gonna go viral. But the fact that they don't do that, they'll look at that picture and be like, oh, that was when me and X chill. And then go to the next picture. Oh, this is when me and such and such. So it doesn't, the meaning to me is not there. Like you don't have, he didn't mean that significant role that you try to make it seem like he meant. after he's gone. And I'm not necessarily speaking to DMX or to Shock G or even to Black Rob. I'm speaking in general when it comes to how friends or so-called friends or so-called acquaintances or so-called family or so-called anybody you have a relationship with, they have gotten to this bubble where it's no more picking up the phone like you used to,
right,
and calling the person and being like, "Hey, what's up? Yo, how's everything going? Like, you doing all right? Like, anything new? Nothing? Oh yeah, well, shit, I just had 16 kids. Like, that's what I've been doing. I'm over here like making babies. Oh, word, yeah, yeah, you would have knew that. We haven't talked in 13 years. Like, so you know what I mean? And it's like, oh well, shit, I saw you online. You was doing your thing. I liked your shit. I loved you. And I was like, oh, but that's the disconnect where that social media allows you to have is this, like, again, and even Lisa spoke to it, this false sense of availability. Like, you feel like they're always accessible. If I decide to poke my fingers, 32 times to spell out a sentence or something. You know what I'm saying? So, like, the end, at the end of the day, when you see that, it's like, man, like, come on. Like, you can't expect to have flowers for anybody if you never planned on having flowers for anybody. And that's like, that's my whole point of the don't put flowers on my grave statement. Like, don't wait till I'm gone to call yourself honoring me, because I'm dead. Right. I can't see, like, yo, you're thinking from a mindset that you know where I'm going. Like, if you're one of those people that think like, oh, well, I'll see you in the next life, you are saying that for sure that's where I'm going. Yeah. And that's where we're all going. So you have this definitive understanding of life, the afterlife, and all of that, but you can't understand what this means to a person when they're around, for you to be supportive. Because one of the biggest things that we deal with as a culture is isolating ourselves when we have problems. You know what I'm saying? We've been told for a long time, mind your business. Like, you know what I'm saying? Mind your business. Stay out of, other people's business. You mind your own and do what you got to do for yours. And so you get into this point where when you have an issue, you can't go to nobody. So you internalize it. So now you have nobody to talk to. And guess what? Nobody's reaching out to you to even give you an option. Yeah. And that's the part that really, scares me about our culture and where we're moving to with this whole disconnect of personal relationships. You know what I'm saying? Like, just calling each other friend and calling each other brother or fam or, sis or any of that, but not have the same feeling to the verbiage we're using. You know what I'm saying? So, what do you think?
Yeah, I think you're touching on a lot of important things. As far as the grief and just kind of like the the post-mortem kind of love and celebration, all that kind of stuff. I think a lot of that is not even about the person who died. I think a lot of that is about the person who's making the post or whatever. And they're just like, hey, I just want everybody to see how I feel in this moment, which, like, okay, that's not how I don't put stuff out there like that. Cause I'm just like, whatever I feel, I'm gonna sit with that. That's my, my grief or whatever. And maybe that's something about how I was brought up, or, the people that are around me. But, I sometimes I see it and I'm like, okay, like, I feel like you might just be trying to jump on this, this bandwagon so you could get a couple extra likes or whatever. Maybe have some people just give you like a tear emoji or whatever. I think there is some of that, but, what you're talking about, I think goes to shine a light on the fact that the communities now are so different. You know what I mean? What it used to be, communities were people who were like within your close proximity, because that was really the best way to communicate. It was in person, like you said. It was a lot of phone. So your communities were so tight knit to where, you know, you didn't have to go years without talking to somebody who you were close with, because they were literally very close to you. Social media is sort of a double-edged sword in that way, where, you know, I've got family members who I love, who I consider close, but, you know, we haven't spoken in months, or maybe in some cases, you know, a year or 2 years. You know what I mean? And, you know, that's, like you said, it's that false sense of availability. You know, we take that for granted, that they're just going to be there. You know, if we, you know, if I'm like, okay, if I want to talk to my cousin at some point, you know, I can just hit my cousin up and be like, hey, what's up? And they'll be like, oh, nothing much. And that's it, you know. But the relationship itself isn't being nurtured. You know, the actual communication and the community is not being nurtured. So I think if we do have that special connection with people, if we do have that feeling of community and that feeling of like family or for friends or whatever, then I don't think it would hurt for us to just put a little extra effort into making it so that it goes further than just liking each other's posts.
Yo, we're having a little technical difficulties with the feed, it seems.
Oh, am I lagging?
Nah, it's we somehow got disconnected. I don't know how that happened, but
it says we're live.
Yeah, we're live in here, but we're not live on one of the outlets.
I'm grabbing my phone like I can do something about it. I'm just sitting here like, let me see.
Cool. Cool.
Hello, yes, computer. Cool. Yes, we need some help. No, I'm sitting here like, what am I going to do about this?
Technicals. The technicals.
This is behind the scenes.
Speaking of technology and how it isn't, you know, dependable. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. It's sad to say. One thing is sad to say, really, though, is if we ever have like a technological crash and have to revert back to, you know, having to deal with people on a person-to-person basis, I think a lot of people lose their fucking mind.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
They wouldn't know how to. They wouldn't know how to interact. They're like, yo, no phone, no TV, no access to anything electronic, and now everything has to literally be. Oh man, people will go mad.
Yeah, well, I mean, they would lose. It's part of our infrastructure now as people. You know, I mean, this is a. You know, I remember when the iPhone first came out, and I was like, what do I need that for? You know, I don't need a TV in my pocket. I don't need to be like, you know, carrying around this kind of stuff. All I need my phone for is to make phone calls and maybe a text here. There is like when texting somebody costs like $15 a text. And I was, you know, so I was like, I'm making phone calls. That's all I need. Now, if somebody calls me, I'm like, what the hell is this? Somebody's calling me? Like, I didn't get a text or anything. This is somebody calling. Is there a problem? You know what I mean? Like that's kind of how, you know, so we change so quickly without realizing it. And the way that we all operate has become just so different. It's this huge shift in dynamic between, you know, each of us as humans. And there are some growing pains. I think that's what we're going through and what we have been going through. You know, when you talk about social media and you talk about just the way we are and the way we communicate, I think part of it is growing pains. I think when things, as we get better at this, as we figure out the kinks, and as we see sort of the negative parts and try to do something about those, I think we'll get better for it. And I think ultimately it'll be better. I was talking to somebody and I told them, I said, social media and the internet is a tool just like any other tool. Like I could take a hammer and I could just bash the shit out of everything in my house and break it. Or I could take that hammer and I can go out and I can build a shed, or I can build whatever, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's a tool. It depends on what you do with it. You know, that is what really makes it what it is. So I hope that we can use, you know, as we start to go forward. And I think we have, you know, there've been, you know, look at what New Blurred Order is. You know what I mean? It's a great, you know, little community of like-minded people who get to, you know, kind of celebrate together and hang out together and that kind of thing. You know, I think we're setting up our own little community here, and that's great. those things are positives. And there are negatives and stuff, but like, we just got to make sure that we're putting out more positive stuff than other people are putting out negative stuff.
No, you're right about that. You're right about that. But I think this is an overwhelming majority of things that I'm seeing. Is there are certain things, of course, and when you speak on that type of dynamic, that you could address, and social media is beneficial in that way as far as providing a platform for you to reach the populace. But again, those are those instances of when people are using it for positivity and not for promotion are rare.
Yeah.
So when you look at the overwhelming business aspect of social media and what that enables people to do, which is promote themselves, then obviously I would totally agree with you that it is profound in its nature, and it is useful in all aspects of that. But what it was meant for, which the key word is social. The key word in that dynamic is the part where it gets hazy,
right?
Because now what is social? What is socializing? Socializing no longer becomes the personal socializing that we once attributed to the word social. Like social was you being around others. You know what I mean? Like it entails you being with others to be able to socialize. So the fact of the matter is now your social has just become, let's see how many people we can bring along with us.
Yeah.
But they don't necessarily they're not necessarily with us. They're with us, but they're not with us. So like, I'm not gonna go get them in VIP, but the fact that there's so many of us out here, you probably should let me in because it looks bad if you don't, and that's kind of where we are. It's not like a real relationship. It's a business association. Like that's what it is. It's become that. And
everything's a commodity. It's that's when you talk about content, you know what I mean? I think content's one of those words that has taken on such an ominous meaning. It's to the point where everybody is valued based on the content that they can give you, and it's not even necessarily like we're not talking about the art, we're not talking about their skills or their passions or love. It's just content. Like give us something to consume. And I think that's a very draining way to look at things. It's like, what are we doing for each other? You know what I mean? Like, what are we giving to each other? What are we receiving? We need some sort of reciprocity. I think, I don't know. I was sitting here wondering as we were talking, I was like, what are some things that we can do or that we can kind of encourage people to do to, to be better friends, be better support systems for each other, to give the flowers while you're still around. You know what I mean? I was sitting there thinking about like, what can I do to be better? Because, there's plenty of places where I can be better at this kind of thing too. I'll look at a post from somebody and like it and be like, all right, I'll see your post next week. But but like maybe if that's somebody,
when you drop another one, I'll be there for that one too, buddy.
Yeah. And here's the thing, and like, but it would take me an extra 30 seconds to maybe text that person and be like, hey, it's been a while since we've talked. How you been? If whatever, you know what I mean? Just to communicate personally and outside of this, content driven, instant validation. Kind of world that is social media. Look for more meaning, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at.
But you know what the one thing that I think separates you from a lot of others is people value their time differently. So like the fact that they, the idea that you feel like that's not a big deal. It'll take me an extra 30 seconds. There's someone else that feels like that extra 30 seconds was too much.
Mhm.
Like the idea to think to pick up the phone, press it under your contact name, and wait for the phone to ring until you answer is nerving for some people.
Yeah.
It literally is. It's so nerving that it's much easier for them to swipe or like or love, you know, or Care Bear or whatever it is, you know, that the status may be. But it's a lot easier to do that and feel like you just did something. Like
Yeah.
I feel party to whatever it was that you did. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
like I'm part of that. This is us. We did this. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like that. And it's one of those things where, like, my friends know I'll call them. Like, I'll call them. I'd rather call you than text you. It's more nerving for me because I'm not a fast texter. I never was like that. I've never been that guy. My finger always touches two buttons. Like, it always, like, it'll be like I'll hit the A and then it'll be like, I'm like, yo, man, fuck this. Like just let me call you. Like, what's up? You know, so I've always been that dude, man. Like, I'll entertain like the text and all of that kind of stuff and everything like that. But I would much rather talk to you. I would much rather hear your voice. I much rather, because as friends, I think it is our jobs to be caretakers of our other friends if we're their friends. So when you talk to your friend and you hear some type of discomfort in their voice, that as a friend, you should be able to pick up on and say, yo, man, you all right? You sure you good?
Yeah.
You know, because again, we internalize our pain. We internalize our stuff. We feel like we're imposing if we're sharing it with you. Like, there's certain people that you have, like you might have, you know, more than one, but there's certain people that you have that you have that relationship with where you don't mind confiding in them. As a matter of fact, those might be the people that you call to confide in. You know what I'm saying? If you trust them. But not having that option, you know, for people to come to you and be like, yo, I hear it in your voice, man, or, you know, are you sure everything's all right? Is there anything I can help you? That's what being a friend is all about, man.
Yeah.
Being a friend is more than just saying that's my friend. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Being a family member is more than just saying that's my family.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's any relationship, like wife, boyfriend and girlfriend, whatever the relationship is. Like, if you don't appreciate that person when they here, how dare you put flowers on their grave? Like that, that's how I'm looking at it. I'm more like, how dare you?
Yeah,
like, you didn't celebrate them. You wasn't celebrating them. Like, yo, like, and now when they gone, I'm so nah, all of that. Stop all of that, man. Stop all of that.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that. I'm a little more forgiving on it. But I recognize that, though, and I do think that there's a certain aspect of it that we haven't really touched on too much, and it's just kind of like this need for just some sort of attention. And, you know, when it's one of those times, like, that's when you can get a lot of attention, you know, where people can be like, oh, you know, I see people on social media reach out for help. They'll be like, I'm going through it right now. And, you know, when I see that, I'm like, wow, like, I hope that they have somebody close to them that, you know, can maybe talk to them or listen to them or help them in some way. You know, I've been the one that's like, we don't really know each other, but if you want to talk to somebody, I'm around. I don't know what I can do for you, but, like, you know, I don't know sometimes if it's just like somebody saying, hey, I'm just having a little bit of a rough day. I could use a couple likes or I could use some people to tell me that I'm good, or that that I'm doing good or whatever, and that if that's the case, there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Like go put it out. Well, I don't.
Because then it comes off again as being like it's like you're doing it now because he asked you for it. It's not. It's disingenuous. Like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, if you really are supportive of someone, like, and I guess I'm speaking from a person that's like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if I support you, I'm gonna support you. Like, it ain't just me just saying like, yo, I'll if I got your number, I'll pick up the phone, I'll call you, I'll check on you, I'll piece you out. Yo, like, look, holla at me, like, tap in, here's my number. You know what I'm saying? I ain't with all of the back and forth messaging. Yo, how's the kids? Well, no, they good. How's your family? Oh, they good. I want to talk to you. I want to hear how you doing. Like, cause look, I know how we get. I've been there. I've been the same person that's been having mash going on and nobody to express it to, because I don't want to impose on nobody, because I don't want to bother you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Everything like that, man. You know what I'm saying? I lost a homeboy. I lost a really close brother, man. I lost him because and we ain't stay connected like we were supposed to stay connected.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, whether it was my fault or his fault, it don't even matter at this point. You know what I'm saying? But we didn't stay connected like we were supposed to stay connected.
Right.
And then the day that I got the news, it was like, wow, that it hit so hard, because I then felt at fault. You get me? Like, as me being the type of friend that I felt at fault, because I didn't tap in with you to see how you was doing. I didn't come at your neck for you doing whatever you doing or taking care of yourself or whatever it was, whatever the case may be. That's me. My real dudes know me. Like, if you doing something that ain't kosher and I feel like it's threatening your health or anything like that, I'm gonna tell you. Like, I ain't gonna sit here and be wanting to beat around the bush and be like, well, nah. I'm gonna be like, man, you need to chill. That stop. Like, that ain't good. That ain't like, nah. Like, yo, look, I love you. I don't want to see you, like, that's me. You know what I'm saying? But some people ain't like that. They beat around the bush. They do all of that kind of stuff, whatever. I'm not here to assault nobody's character. But what I'm saying is, when you looking at your friends, you should be looking at your friends like that's your family. And if you don't look at your family like that's your family, then you wouldn't know what I'm talking about. So, like, but you got to put them up on a pedestal, because it's virtually you, them, your family, and the world. And then the world. So it's good to be allied up and have some people, you know what I'm saying, on your squad. Like, it's nothing wrong with being allied up and having people on your squad. You just better make sure the people that's on your squad is like you and built like understanding friendships and understanding relationships. Because it's not just about just saying, hey, that's my brother, or that's my fam, or that's my sis, or that's my cuz, or that's my whatever your whatever you call your significant other, whatever the case may be. Like, it should be more than just, I see you on social media, what up, hey,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and that part is the part of this that I just have the disdain with.
Yeah, and I think to help that along, to just kind of get to a point where we're better at that, I think we should allow ourselves and allow each other to ask questions like, what do you need? Like, as a friend, what do you need from me as a friend? You know what I mean? Like, if you're going through a hard time or whatever, some people be like, I just really need somebody, to be sitting across from me right now and just listening, just giving me that love. You know what I mean? That's what I need right now. Or maybe they're just like, look, all I need to know is that if I need you, you're here, and I'll deal with it on my own time, in my own way, or whatever. So I feel like it's a lot of it just comes back to communication and just making sure that we're listening to each other. And it's, find out what these people need, because maybe what I think is the right way to approach a situation may not be the right way for the person that's in need of you know, the kind of support that they're looking for, but maybe they don't know how to verbalize it. So we just, you know, and this probably starts to go into the other stuff that we're wanting to talk about, but you know, just that communication can really help to understand each other better. And you know, yes, helping somebody gives you that feeling of, you know, I've been a good friend, or I've been you know, I've been the support that they need. But if it's not the kind of support that that person actually requires at that time, or that person is looking for, then all you've done is give yourself a good feeling, and they're just kind of back at square one.
Yeah, that's a good way to wrap up that point and go right into the second half of this conversation, which is what the hell is wrong with me? And what the hell is wrong with me is just a jab at the problem in our culture, in the African American community. We have a lot of, like I said before, we have a lot of internalized emotions, a lot of internalized traumas, a lot of internalized issues with you know, gender, you know, sexuality, you know, all of the different concerns that go on in one's mind. And the problem is that we don't necessarily get the help we need because we don't think we need any help.
Yeah.
So I think this is an issue that you can speak directly to, and that's mental health, and how it affects us as a culture and as a people. I think I should give you the floor, man, and let you speak to the people out there.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to speak from my own experience. You know, I'm 37 years old right now, and I just this year started seeing a therapist. And you know, one of the first things that I realized was like, damn, I should have been doing this a long time ago. And the question, what the hell is wrong with me? It's an interesting question. I think it brings up some good stuff to talk about, because that question is something that we ask ourselves, like when you know, when things are feeling a little bit off, or, you know, you want to be, and the word wrong and like and sick and crazy and whatever, like all those words have such a negative stigma to them that it makes it feel like, okay, if I get to a point where I admit that I need to take extra steps to try to be the healthiest person that I can be, that it's also a sign of weakness, or it's a sign that I couldn't do it myself, or that I have somehow failed. You know, men deal with this a lot. I've somehow failed as a man. I'm not the strong man that I thought I was. You know, that kind of thing. You know, there's a lot of stigma to it, and you know, I think one of the things about mental health is that we all need to realize is that there is not a right way to be, as far as like where you are emotionally, where you are mentally. You know, our brain chemistries are delicate. Like we are very complex, delicate creatures when it really comes down to it. The slightest change in our chemistry can turn us into a completely different person, or have us in a completely different mood. And that's just on a regular day. And then you take a look at all the stuff that we deal with from the outside. You know, we have to, some people have to raise kids. Some people have to support their family. They have to support themselves. You know, where do you find time to make sure that you're as healthy as you can be inside and mentally? So it's important to realize that we need to prioritize our mental health. We need to stop giving ourselves excuses to just kind of put it on the back burner. I wrote a joke recently that talked about this kind of thing, and it's like, you know, I spent so many of my years when something bad would happen, when you know, I would get some bad news or whatever, and I would just be like, well, could be worse, or, you know, well, you know, can't complain, you know, that kind of thing. And it's like, yeah, okay, that's a way to move forward, but you haven't addressed anything. And when you don't address these problems, when you don't address these things that happen, you know, address those kind of, you know, whether it's a problem with a partner or yourself or work or whatever it is, when you're not addressing these things, they don't just leave. Like, they stay in there, and they will find a way to present themselves at some point, whether it's in a crazy dream, or, you know, maybe you'll lash out at somebody who doesn't deserve it. or, you know, one of many ways. But, you know, we got to stop giving ourselves an excuse to not be better. You know, I don't have enough time, or, you know, I was talking to somebody recently who's you know, in his 60s, and we were having a conversation about this subject. And, you know, I told him, I was like, you know, I think it's good for everybody to go and see a therapist. I think I think everybody can benefit from it in some way, you know, in the right circumstances. And his comment was, I mean, what's the point? I'm 60 years old. You know, I don't want to spend my remaining days, you know, working on myself and that kind of thing. And that struck a chord because it made me think about the fact that this person is very aware of, you know, where they are mentally, and, you know, there are things that they don't like, but they're resigned to spending the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years of their life still being there because they're scared of the work that goes into being a healthier person, or just, you know, scared of maybe, you know, being less of a man than they thought they were, or, you know, whatever, you know, kind of thing like that. And it's sad because that conditioning is so deep within us, especially in the Black community, especially for men. It's like, this is just what it is, you know. When you're a kid, you know what I mean? Like when you cried, I'm sure it was the same for you. When you started crying, when you were a little kid, somebody was like, toughen up, be a man. And you're like, oh, okay, shit. Well, you know, that's the way I got to be. As a man, that's the way I got to be. I got to keep my emotions on lock. I got to make sure that I'm the toughest version of myself that I can be, because that's what people need me to be. You know, that's what a man's supposed to be. You know, or you get into you know, some sort of argument or altercation or whatever, and, you know, as a teenager or something like that, people around you, they're like, okay, you guys disagree, now you got to fight. And as men, you're like, oh, okay, well, I guess we could just punch each other in the face for a little while, and then just never ever talk about why we're here, or, you know, why we got to this point, that kind of thing. There's so many things that we have just accepted as part of being a man or part of being a person, that don't need to be accepted. Like, you can work through them, you could change them, you can, you know, we can change these conversations. It's like when we were talking about earlier, just supporting people. It's like we always think about stuff as though we're just like, you know, we have the answers and we know what people need, but maybe we should be more concerned about what people really need, you know, what people are willing to share with us, and what people are willing to confide in. So I'm jumping around a lot. What's up?
Well, let me ask you a question, because that's where now I in no way am trying to deter. Anyway, let me go ahead and preface this. Not in any way trying to deter anyone from getting any type of mental help that they feel will help them in the long run. By all means, do whatever you need to do to get yourself right. What I do have a problem with is saying who's right in that. Meaning, who has the right to tell someone else that the way that because one of the words you used was fear and scared to describe the 60-year-old gentleman's way that he decided to, you know, go forward with the rest of his days.
Right.
And my argument in his defense would be, maybe he's not scared at all. Maybe he's content. And being content doesn't mean that he's unaware, because you did speak to the fact that he is fully aware. It just means that you're comfortable in your situation. It may bother me to see you in that uncomfortable situation, but that's from me on the outside looking in. That situation would be uncomfortable for me, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's uncomfortable for you. So if that 60-year-old gentleman feels like this is the way he wants to live the rest of his days, he should be more than entitled to do so. And not only should he be entitled to do so, but he shouldn't be judged in a manner that would somehow say that his way of living is incorrect, but the way that we deem is correct. And therefore, you are wrong, sir. And it's unfortunate, and I'm sorry, but but enjoy the rest of your day. And that's kind of where my again dilemma is with people, is because we find that comforts in things that we find comforts in. And when we find comforts in those things, we tell our mind that those things are right. And that's how we categorize them in our mind. So that means if it's comfortable for me, when I talk to you about it, I'm going to talk to you about it in a way that should also implore you to like it also, because that is the way that I'm going to convey it to you. Just like if I don't like something, I'm going to convey it to you in a way that it seems repulsive and it seems like you shouldn't like it, and hopes that you don't like it. And that is one of those things where the more and more you experience people, you understand that everybody's goodness comes from a place of comfort. What they found comfort in, whether it be knowledge, whether it be the absence thereof, whether it be in like the 60-year-old man, in the comfort of just being content, like you don't have any expectations or any goals outside of contentment.
Right.
And that's why it's so mental health. I again have experienced it, never got any help for it, but I'm like that 60-year-old man. I feel like I'll listen to anybody. And if there's something that I feel like you're saying is something that I can apply to my life and in some way can benefit from the things that you've said, then I feel like that is the way that we exchange information and energy. You know what I'm saying? So there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm also one of those firm believers that you should also have your own opinion about everything. And like, just because someone tells you that it was this way for them doesn't necessarily mean that it could be that way for you. Now it may. I'm not in any way saying it won't, but
I'll speak to that as though I'm speaking in generalities about this 60-year-old person. I won't go too deep into their into their stuff, because that's not right. But what I will say is you're right that there's nobody has the right to sit here and tell you, like, look, the way that you deal with your own mental health is the wrong way, and you need to be dealing with it the way that I think is right. By no means should anybody be like that. I think that there's room there. There's room there to there's room to know that, okay, maybe I'm not wrong. And that was like what we touched on earlier. Maybe I'm not wrong. Maybe I'm not broken. Maybe I'm doing okay. And I can probably do okay for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But maybe there's also room to do better. And I think a lot of people, before they start, like when they start to take that journey, because I had this, I can only speak from my experience. I had this kind of thought that I was like, well, damn, like, what if I start getting into like therapy and stuff, and I start to like kind of lose who I am? Like, I like who I am. What if I start to lose who I am? Or what if I find out that I'm just like worse than I could have ever imagined? And I think those are things that from the outside, when you're kind of looking at it can be frightening, to think about, okay, I'm gonna go into this situation thinking about being better and thinking about changing and growing, but it doesn't really work that way. You know what I mean? Like, you at your core, if you're a good person at your core, you're going to remain a good person. If you're a bad person at your core, there's a good chance you're probably going to remain a bad person. If you're, the level at which you'll change or grow or evolve or not is going to be completely based on how you are going into it. But it's not going to, you're not going to erase yourself, and to recognize that there's room to be better, and to recognize that I can grow and I can evolve, doesn't mean that what you were doing before was wrong, or that what you were doing before wasn't good enough, or it wasn't going to meet the standards of some, arbitrary, scale or whatever. It just allows you the opportunity to get as much information as possible, to understand yourself at the deepest level possible. So you can push through barriers that you didn't even know were there. And that's the biggest thing. It's like discovering, so much of it is just discovering these barriers that are within you that have stopped you from kind of making that next step as a person. Again, to speak to my own personal experience, one of the things that kind of was difficult for me was like going into therapy. I was like, here's how I went into therapy. I'll be real honest. Here's how I went into therapy. I was like, I'm good. I don't really need any help, but times are weird. I might as well, who knows, maybe I'll pick up a thing or two. And then as I kind of get into it, weeks go by and like some months go by and I'm like, oh shit, like this is like, we're talking about some stuff that I didn't even know I wanted to talk about. You know what I mean? But it's just like, you get to that point and things are just like coming out. And the way my therapist works, and I think everybody has to find the right situation for themselves if they choose to go that route. The way it works with me and my therapist, she doesn't even really say much. I talk a lot, imagine that, but she doesn't even really say much. But what she will do is she'll kind of like, she'll listen and then kind of like turn me in the right direction and be like, okay, you're onto something here. Go in this direction and you'll find what you're looking for. That sort of thing. Or, you're really close to making a discovery. Let's keep down this road. You know what I mean? It's kind of plowing through those barriers that were there my whole life where, whenever it starts to get a little bit, because our brains protect us as much as they possibly can. When everything starts to get a little bit too much for us, that's when we'll get distracted by, some, feeling or maybe there's, we'll start fidgeting or, we'll go and watch TV, whatever. But like most of the time, it's just like these kind of protective elements. And when you can push through those and you can really start feeling stuff and you can really start discovering stuff, that's when you're like, oh shit, like there's a lot more here than I realized. And it's why I talk about it and bring it up at kind of like an annoying level almost. I'm like, damn, I wish everybody had, it's almost like you get this mental super soldier serum and you're like, I want everybody to have this. I want everybody to be at this level. You know what I mean? Not that I'm like, oh, I'm some super evolved person or whatever, not that kind of thing, but it's empowering. It's empowering to know yourself at a level that you didn't think was possible before. And I'll pause to see if there's anything you'd like to add because I've been talking a lot.
It's because I want to. When I speak to this, I'm speaking to this from the fear that goes along with therapy and the associations that go along with therapy.
Yeah.
Number one, for a very, very long time, African American people weren't even in the position to afford therapy. That's number one.
Still,
like that was something that was kind of, more for the privileged, like the privileged, their family members and, themselves to
Absolutely.
that thing. It was almost like a birthright or a passing of the torch. Okay, well, little Jimmy, you got your 13, it's time to go see doctor, it's like, so at one point that it wasn't even accessible for us. Okay?
Absolutely.
The reasons why we deal with so much mental health issues is because of the environments we've been put into, the struggles we've continuously have had to endure, and for this sake of argument, fear of our lives.
Yeah.
I mean, like we've literally been fearing for our lives forever. So like that, imagine that waking up every day and you're fearful.
Yeah.
And so that compounds all the issues that you would also encounter on a day-to-day basis. So it's a struggle, but I think we were kind of, and for lack of a better word, bred that way. You know, we were bred to be
Oh
to
yeah,
endure.
I don't think
You
there's a
know,
more
like
resilient person in this
yeah,
in this world than a black person. You know what I mean? Like there, and especially especially a black woman. You know what I mean? But like there's a certain kind of toughness and resilience and frankly trauma that comes with being black in America. So and you know I 100% agree with that.
but well, and that's what I was speaking to is the resiliency that comes along with dealing with, you know, trauma and all of those
Mm.
things right there. And that actually kind of segues into, you know, the last part of our conversation, which is cat in the bag. Now, um cat in the bag, oh man, and I gotta let me get myself together for this, man. Cat in the bag references a scene. First of all, let me give this
Yeah.
the backstory. Okay. Uh for those out there who don't know, there is a series on Amazon called Them. Um Them is based in 1953. It's about a African American family that moves from North Carolina to Los Angeles, California, in a all white suburban neighborhood.
Mm.
Um, the executive producer of this series is Lena Waithe. I don't know if you know who Lena Waithe is, but she also directed Clean and Slim,
Mm.
and also The Shy on Showtime. She's also the director of that, and I think she also stars in that as well. But this, like I said, takes place in 1953. This also takes place during the Second Great Migration.
Mm.
And for those out there that don't know what that means, um, in 19, I think 40, uh, a lot of African American people from the South started to migrate to other parts of the United States, to the Midwest, to the West, to the Northeast,
Mm.
but basically everywhere but the South. They were trying to get out, you know, while they could. And this family is moving to Los Angeles now. Mm, this story the movie Them, or the series Them, follows this family's um trials and tribulations that they deal with associated with the community that they live in and the people that surround them. There is a specific scene in this episode, um and this is episode 5 for anybody that wants to go out there and see just this episode, because I think this episode in itself is enough. Um, and I would tell anybody to go see it, just because the impact that it will have on you as a visual. Sometimes we need to see um, an African American man um, murdered in front of us to realize that African American men get murdered. And yeah, this scene depicts a family of um, Caucasians going into this African American woman's home, where it's just her and her small baby infant boy. And they take this little baby boy, infant baby boy, they put him into a sheet, a little pillowcase. The lady ties up the pillowcase, and they commence to swinging the
Tossing.
pillowcase in their head as fast as they possibly can, tossing the pillowcase back and forth between themselves. and swinging it and swinging it and tossing it and tossing it and tossing it, swinging it until they literally kill this baby.
Yeah. And it's worse than it sounds. You know, it actually looks worse than it sounds, which it probably sounds ridiculous, but it is. And if you're really curious, you know, go ahead and check it out. Honestly, like if I could unsee it, I absolutely would. You know, I don't want to interrupt if you're, I don't know if you wanted to go any further into it.
No, I'm glad you said that, because that is actually the one reaction that I would hope everybody would have, but it's a necessary scene.
Because well, I don't know if go ahead.
Yeah. It's necessary for the simple fact that we've had a lot of movies, we've had a lot of series, we've had a lot of different shows that have depicted these kind of historical relationships between the races, and a lot of times those shows are celebrated. They win Oscars and they win Emmys and they win all of these, you know, awards for, you know, brilliant scripts and well directed reenactments. This is the one that I really feel like needs to be seen, even though it's graphic in nature. Like every episode, it's more and more graphic, but it also speaks to a time that actually occurred, because there are a lot of people, and I've heard this countless times, where they say that was history, that doesn't affect, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, I'm not like that. I wouldn't do that. That's just, you know, that's divisive to even talk about it. You know what I'm saying? And that to me is such a disrespectful statement, because this directly speaks to the now and why the relationship between the races are the way that they are, because there was a disconnect, as though these heinous crimes never happened. Like that's the part where it's like, oh, we don't really owe y'all reparations. Yes, you do. When you see stuff like that, you absolutely owe us reparations. Yo, and you've been listen, for everybody out there, I implore you to go and just watch some of them. You don't even have to watch the whole 10 episodes, because you might not even make it through the 10 episodes, to be honest with you. But the fact of the matter is, you need to see this, because at one point there were people who thought, felt, acted, and did these things. Now, if you're not one of those people, then applaud yourself. But at the same time, understand that these people existed. We don't argue with the Jewish community that the Holocaust never happened. We don't argue with them. We're like, yo, we're so sorry that happened to y'all. Like, yo, we know they killed so many of your people. We never argued that never happened. But somehow, like, I've heard it over and over again. People like, yo, that's just decisive talk. It's not decisive talk. It's acceptance of the truth. Like, at the end of the day, like, I'd rather you be like, yeah, we did that shit. I would never do that shit. But yo, we did that shit. Don't sit there and discount it and be like, oh, you know, that was then, this is now. Nah, because that is why this is now. That same behavior that was out there, and we just saw this same behavior. We just saw it in Columbia, South Carolina, just recently, like last week. We just saw that same sense of entitlement. And that same, like, what are you doing here? Like, that same, we'll sit out here and make it uncomfortable for you as much as we can, if we can.
Yeah,
You know
no,
what I'm saying?
I agree 100%, and I agree 100% with the social impact of it, and that that we there do there constant reminders are necessary because revisionist history is a plague. Um, the need to paint everything that has happened in this country as some sort of positive light. You know what I mean? Even like even to a certain extent, people like to paint slavery as this positive light. Well, without it, we wouldn't be here. You know what I mean? Like you hear that shit too sometimes. And so I agree that as much as people can reconcile with the past, they need to do that, and they need to understand it. They need to understand the impact of it and how those things that even though you didn't live in that time, or maybe even your parents didn't live in that time, but that still impacts us to this day in ways that are only just now being understood. Yeah. One thing I'll say about that show though is I like Queen and Slim a lot. Like I watched Queen and Slim and I liked it. It was a little heavy. I was like, damn, that shit ruined my day, but it was good and it was done in a way that I was like, okay, like this is a good conversation. Yeah, absolutely. And it was, yeah, I can recommend Queen and Slim and say, it's heavy, but like I can recommend it without a doubt. This one, I feel like there was a time where in that episode where I was like, was this written and directed by a black woman? Because I feel like it was almost to the point where it was like torture porn, and like because the stories seemed to center around white folks. Like all the story elements were like we're all white folks, and then the black folks show up and they're tortured and they're traumatized and they're raped and they're murdered, and then they just get to be that, like that's their only. And so like for me it was striking, yes. And did it start a lot of conversations? Absolutely. But I'm wondering if maybe it was a little too I'm wondering if it was a little bit too just, yeah, I guess torture porn is like the kind of the word for it. Cause I think that we like Queen and Slim. It said some things that needed to be said, but it did so in such a brilliant way. Lovecraft Country. I mean, Lovecraft Country is at times gruesome and weird and it deals with a lot of black suffering, but it centers blackness and it centers, and it makes the black folks the heroes, not just the victims. You know what I mean? Like
I think this one does too. Okay, how many episodes are you in? Because I mean, I know I told you about that one, but how many did you catch all the episodes?
I haven't caught all the episodes, and okay. it makes me feel a little better to know that maybe there's some times where there's at least some some.
It's not. It's okay. One thing about them is not. It is them is them. Like when they say when the other movie was Us, but he wasn't written by them. Like
yeah.
Like this is one of those. This movie is the director said, and again, and let me give credit also to Little Marvin because and I shouldn't say also because it was actually I think his idea, and I think Lena kind of joined in as a co-executive, and I think she was the more notable name.
Right.
So they kind of like pushed her to the forefront.
Yeah, put a little weight behind it.
Yeah, and put the, you know what I'm saying? But it's really Little Marvin's whole idea. And I think it speaks to, and again, this is one of those things that makes it uncomfortable, but also in a way that it needs to be uncomfortable, is because it speaks to the savagery at one point that the Caucasian white community was involved in. And that's the part that I think causes the disconnect a lot of times, is because there's a whole generation that didn't grow up in that generation. They don't recognize it at its worst. Like they've heard the occasional friend or somebody in a group of say the N-word, and that was about as far as it's gone. You know what I mean? but nobody was like, yo, let's go out tonight and go to somebody's house and kill their babies in front of them and then, you know, party and then walk out like nothing ever happened and never face any charges or get locked up and they have to deal with that for the rest of their life. No. No. These are things that now, is this based on a true story? No, y'all, it's not based on a true story. Or is it? Because that, like, it's one of those things where this might not be based on a specific story, but there was a lot of instances in those times where these heinous atrocities were happening. Like they have a song that they play over and over. That like it's weird. It's like something about going to the cotton field and something. Mm-hmm. It's like, yo, so this was all in at the time in North Carolina and Jim Crow South. So like these atrocities were happening and there was no repercussions. You know what I'm saying? So during the Second Great Migration, these people were thinking they were escaping to somewhere better, only to find out that the same racism exists over here on the West Coast, just like it exists on the South, just like it exists in the Midwest, everywhere.
They're just a little more subtle with it, and it's and almost more diabolical with it in a way.
And the fact that it you know it made you feel like it was that inappropriate is what she was trying to do, because the whole premise of this, or he was doing, or both of them, the whole premise of where Little Marvin is trying to come from is to show that this is not made up, y'all. This is not we're not fearful just because. Like there was at a time where this was happening to us all the time. Like this was happening. They were doing this to us all the time. When you watch the series and you watch the stuff, one of the things it speaks to, again, is mental health, is the fact that we had to internalize everything.
Oh, yeah.
You had no outlet. You couldn't go to the police. You couldn't go to a doctor. You couldn't go to a lawyer. You couldn't go to anybody who would take you seriously. So you had to deal with whatever came your way. And if you complained about it, oh my God, bro, when you watch this series, like it shows that, like, again, the resiliency, but also it shows the dynamic of what the toll of the consistent behavior like that coming on you causes on you, like the toll that it takes. Like you lose your sanity, you lose all sense of who you are and forget who you were. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's kind of what the whole series is showing. And I get why the blowback comes from a lot of people, because again, this is something that has never ever appeared on screen before. You have never ever seen a baby get killed on screen, whether it was in a bag. You saw them tie the bag up. You saw her put the baby in the bag, tie the bag up. Whether it was a baby in there or not, you knew that was what they symbolized. And the way that they were so nonchalant with that thing and just swinging it around and cat in the bed, and cat, you know, like all like, yo, just playing like they were playing a game.
Yeah.
And then left it, bro. Like, to anybody who has not seen this, please, I applaud you. I implore you, go check it out. Make your own decisions on what you see and how you feel. And again, it should make you feel a certain type of way. It should. You should feel, if you are a white person, you should feel disgusted with that these people were people who represented you at one point. Like, you should be thoroughly disgusted. Like, straight up, like that, like you should be already saying they weren't white, they were something else. You know what I mean? They were something totally different, like from what I am, because that right there is something different. So, you know, like, it is triggering. And I think if that was what Lena and Little Marvin were you know, aiming to do, then they are very
mission accomplished. Yeah,
they are definitely that, because I've never, and I'm me and wifey are scared to watch. I mean, we're gonna watch them, but I mean, I'm just like, well, damn, if this is episode 5, and there's 5 more episodes, then where do we go from here?
Yeah,
like, yo, like, what is next now? Like, you cook, like, there in that same episode, I think, was it that same? Yeah, that same episode, The woman cooked her kids. Did you see that? You didn't see that part in the episode?
I don't think that was in the same episode, right?
Oh well, it might. Okay,
yeah,
well maybe I let a little bit too much.
No, you're good.
Yeah, no, like there was there's a lot, and it just speaks to when you internalize and how no matter who you are, everybody gets overloaded. Anybody and everybody can be overloaded, and once that point of overloading comes, then you no longer have a choice in the matter. You no longer have a choice. It now erupts. You dealing with eruptions. Eruptions are those moments where you freak out, otherwise called blackouts. You know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. When he's like, I don't know what happened. Yeah, because you lost control. You could no longer hold on to the fucking lid. It exploded. The popcorn has come out, bro. So like that, like I'm with you on getting help, whether it be therapy or some other form of holistic means or whatever it is that you feel can help you.
Yeah.
But definitely get some help, man. We're going into
yeah, I feel like we might have to do a part 2 of this them and kind of the mental health aspects and stuff, because there's a lot here that we could be talking about and unpacking. But yeah, we're coming up on time, so
yeah.
Guess y'all got a reason to tune in again.
Yeah, definitely, man. And as always, you killed it, man. Go ahead and talk to the people, tell them what you need to tell them.
Yeah, you get it. I mean, we do look a little alike, but not that much.
Hold on. There we go.
Yeah, no, you can follow me on social media at Tyrone Thornhill, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and stuff. I'm hitting the live stages again. I got vaccinated. I support the idea of people getting vaccinated so we can all come back to life. But I'll be hitting the live stages again Saturday at the Hilton Garden Inn in Palm Coast, and then May 6th for at the Geek Easy for the New Blurred Order show. I feel like that's going to be a real special one. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to meeting everybody and just having a good time.
Well, is that it? Is that all?
Yeah, catches on the New Blurred Order at 9:00 on Saturday morning. Of course, you can see us here at Wednesday or on Wednesdays at 6:30 for Multiverse, and we just hope to keep sharing this time with you.
I was just messing with you, man. I was just messing with you, man. But news alert, man. So everybody, listen. Working hard and trying to have different outlets for you guys to reach us at. So far I have a new personality page. I would implore all of you guys to go follow me at Tyleem Bad Ty Robinson. That is Tyleem Bad Ty Robinson. That is the personality page. And also I have a fan page for Multiverse up. So I will also ask that you follow us at Multiverse. And let's see, and the YouTube page as well. Well, we'll hold off on that because I'm still waiting to get accepted and all that stuff. But also you can catch me at Ty Bricks 41. We also have the Instagram page. I gotta get the ats and everything to that, man. I'm behind schedule, man. It's been a busy week. And also catch me on my Facebook at Tyleem Robinson. We will also be having, this is a special announcement. Tomorrow we're going to be having a special NFL draft live streaming event with none other than Tyrone Thornhill, TJ Legacy Cole.
I forget to say that.
And Alan York. I think I got that right.
Yeah.
Homeless millionaire. But so I want everybody to tune into that. That'll be at we'll be popping that off at 8 I think 8:00 tomorrow night. Here on Facebook. We'll stream that to all the pages and everything like that. So you'll be able to link with us on that. and hopefully we'll just be having a good time. We're gonna be chopping it up. We're gonna be talking about the picks as they come through, and kind of critique them, and just chop it up with some funny people, man, and and have a good time, man. So nothing too serious, something light, but yeah, definitely I'll send the invite out for everybody and let everybody know who wants to come and join us with that, man. But we'll be talking about all kind of stuff, so don't worry about it. We'll still give y'all some content. It ain't just gonna be all football, but it's gonna be a majority football, but we're gonna give y'all some content as well. But as usual, we appreciate everybody coming through, showing the love, showing the support, continuing to be true to who you are and true to us. And we're gonna try to do the same. We're gonna continue to try to be true to y'all. So everybody who continues to support and continues to show us love, we appreciate y'all. Continue to look out. We're gonna continue to try to move forward. And thank you everybody for joining us. And until next week.
It's yours. Whose world is this? It's mine, it's mine, it's mine.